This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
So I got this paperwork here, Rick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You've requested 17 sick days this year. Let me tell you, we're not running a shoddy organization here. All hands on. You still got to work.
Yeah.
What happened, Rick?
Well, I went to Europe. I had a nice vacation.
So these are 17 sick days in addition to your 48 vacation days that you ended up taking.
Yeah, and that's it. There's no story. I just went to Europe and came back, and everything was fine.
Was it fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then what is this kind of purpley hand you got here in the swelly arm?
All right. There might have been a slight incident around day 5 or day 6 of my vacation. I was riding a bike.
Okay.
Mountain biking.
There's no way you would ever. This is fake news. You would never get on a bike.
No, it's true. It was a 6-hour bike tour through Interlaken, Switzerland, and we went to Lauterbrunnen and Stechelberg.
I bet it was gorgeous.
And it was just spectacular. It was beautiful. And around the 5-hour and 56-minute mark
of a 6-hour tour.
So
you have 4 minutes left. Okay.
We stopped and got an ice cream cone.
Okay. What kind?
A strawberry.
Was it good?
It was delicious.
Okay. With a cone or
with a cone?
Okay.
Yeah.
Safety cone or the sugar cone?
The sugar cone.
Okay.
And then they said, all right, we just have to go under that bridge over there, and just on the other side is where we turn in the bikes. Okay. Well, I didn't hear him say, and the bridge is kind of low, so you need to duck.
Okay.
All right. But I discovered that as I was heading right at the bridge. I wasn't going that fast, but fast enough.
Yeah, sure.
And I ducked at the last second so I didn't smash my head. In so doing, I turned my bike just a smidgen to the left, hit the curb, and went flying off the bike into a jagged stone wall. Yeah.
And nothing happened. You got up and everything was fine, right?
Yeah, I got up and I felt like my arm was not attached to my body.
In fact, didn't you exclaimed that?
That's what I said, yeah. But it turns out I really badly broke my shoulder, my bicep, the humerus bone.
Yeah. Which is not funny.
As it turns out. And then we were stuck in Switzerland. And so we were in the middle of nowhere in Switzerland, and we didn't have a car or anything, so we had to walk about a mile holding a badly broken arm. Yeah. And then I had to take 2 trains to get to Zurich, which is where our plane was. And then I had to take 2 planes from Zurich to Chicago. And here I am.
So, when you told me about this, and as I conferred with your doctors, I always was under the impression that Switzerland, you were in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Socialized medicine, that it would be like $12.
Well, it turns out it's the only country in Europe that does not have socialized medicine. We had to pick the one. It's neutral Switzerland. It's, they told me I could have had the surgery there. I mean, I went in an ambulance and everything. Went to the hospital. They gave me some stuff to hold my arm against my body. And they said they could do the surgery right away to put a pin in because it's broken right through. And they said that would only cost $40,000. So I came back to America where it's going to probably be $120,000, but at least I've got insurance.
Right, and it's going to cost you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when you think about $40,000 for a broken arm, when my psychosomatic colonoscopy heart attack was like $35,000, that's actually not a bad deal.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, you look great.
Well, thank you. I've got a shirt with 2 sleeves, which is a giant step because I could not put this arm into I don't want to show you. It's pretty gross. My whole arm is black and blue.
Would it have killed you to shave?
I tried to shave.
Are you going to be able to shave?
I don't know.
Really?
And right now, I usually hold my microphone.
Right.
So this is, I'm going way above and beyond the call here.
And for our listeners, our longtime listeners know you're not very adept at the whole production part of it anyway. So this is going to be very interesting, and I am going to be very compassionate.
What if it turns out that I'm super great at it now? Right. All I needed was that focus.
That's right. When the sour cream goes sour, what happens? It becomes good cream.
You know what else I discovered? My whole life I've been a left-handed wiper.
Wiper. Okay.
Yeah. And I can't now because my left arm is shot. So I switched over to right-handed. It's like a million times better. Like, why didn't I think of this?
You had 60 years of...
I had 60 years doing it the wrong way.
So you are a right hand.
I'm right-handed. I don't know how that happened. But now I'm right-handed wiping, and I'm like the king of wiping.
Hashtag blessing in disguise.
I'm like the best wiper there ever was.
Woo! Look at that.
Just watch my YouTube video about it. It's pretty good. All right, we have a show to do, and let's see if we can do it. And there's the first mistake.
There's the first glitch.
So as it turns out, it does not focus.
Hey, how many Oxycontin I got?
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie production on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Minutia Man with Rick and Dave.
Yeah, let's talk painkillers. What'd they give you?
Yeah. So I have a nerve painkiller.
Okay.
There's some sort of a nerve thing, and that's really what's wrong with my arm. It had some nerve damage, so I have no use of my left arm.
And it's possible that I won't be there for months.
It's going to be months, and it might not come back 100% at all. Just to be serious for a second, but they are optimistic.
Oh,
so I have some nerve medicine. I have some pain medicine. I got some oxycodone.
Yeah, tell me about that. What's that like?
I tell you, it puts you right to sleep.
Yeah.
And actually, I had one
There's
this morning.
no concerns with using as much of this as you want to, by the way.
I had one this morning. So
for breakfast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because sleeping is difficult. But when I woke up, I took oxycodone and fell right back asleep again. So because it knocks you right out.
Do you have any extra ones?
I don't know.
Yeah.
A little something.
Well, thank you for doing the show, and let's see how it goes.
All right. So far, so good.
Well, enough about you. I got a cold still.
Yeah.
You know, the last time.
And I appreciate, just for the listener's sake, while I was in the hospital having surgery and everything, Dave was calling my voicemail to give me full updates on his congestion.
Yes. Right. Well, so I'm the bad guy to keep you abreast of my sinus.
Yeah, no. That's not great.
All right, well, this story, Rick, comes out of Indiana, and the older I get, Rick, the more I consider Indiana as basically just Florida with crappy weather, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Headline, Indiana woman admits to mistakenly stabbing baby niece instead of dog that ate her sandwich. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. Indiana woman stabbing a baby.
Right. Not a feel-good story.
Wanted to stab the dog, evidently, because he ate her sandwich.
Who hasn't had that happen?
An Indianapolis woman is accused of stabbing a baby inside a hotel while attempting to stab a dog for eating her Burger King chicken sandwich. Now, it's not even a Chick-fil-A, you know.
I don't know, though. I was thinking it was like a turkey sandwich or something. You didn't mention it was Burger King.
It was a professional sandwich. The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department responded to a report of a
professional sandwich.
stabbing shortly before 11 p.m. Tuesday at a Days Inn in the city's Castleton neighborhood. IMPD said they found a 1-year-old girl stabbed in the neck. A short time later, police found the suspect hiding near a bush outside the hotel. Okay, we are not monsters.
Yeah.
The kid's going to be fine.
Right.
Okay, if the kid was going to be permanently...
Right.
Yeah, we would not be doing this story.
Definitely
but everything's fine. The family's fine. Everything's fine. According to police reports, Sharon Key tearfully said the stabbing was an accident. Police said Key told them that the family went to Burger King to pick up food and then returned to the hotel like people do, right? But she claimed her pit bull ate her chicken sandwich, so she got pissed and chased the dog around the room with a knife. Everybody does that, right?
Yeah, that pit bull could have turned around and just eaten her alive.
Like a chicken sandwich. Yeah. When the dog jumped on the bed where the child was lying down, Key said she tried to stab the dog, but missed and stabbed her niece by mistake. Oh. You know, after the stabbing, and this is what the child's mother, who is also in the hotel room, quickly called 911. Here is a quote from Tracy Griffin, who is the baby's grandfather. It's stupid, and at the same time, she's a grown-up. She should have known that baby was sitting right there. I want the book thrown to her. The dog is like 90 pounds and huge, and the baby is really small. How did she miss so badly?
Oh my God.
So doesn't it sound like the grandfather is more pissed at her stabbing skills than the fact that the kid was stabbed? Right?
Yeah, take another shot at that pit bull.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Come on, no. Use the different, right over left technique. How many times have I told you how to stab? So, there you go. A lot of things here. Chicken sandwich, Burger King. Now, I like when you go to a Burger King, get a chicken sandwich. Are you going the grilled or you're going the original?
Between you and me, I don't think I've ever had a chicken sandwich at Burger King.
I love the original Burger King chicken sandwich. Nice,
I don't think I've had one.
I used to get that all the time. In Champagne, they were like 90 cents. They were awesome. And then they get you like tomatoes and lettuce on it and mayonnaise.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not a Chick-fil-A fan, to be honest with you.
I'm not either.
I'm not either. It's nothing to do with political.
No,
it's just
it's
not that great.
It's fine.
Yeah.
They're
too damn friendly.
A couple years ago when there was that controversy about Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich. They were running out of it all over the country.
Okay, yeah.
That's pretty good.
The spicy chicken?
I did try that one. That's pretty good. All right, I have a story for you. Mm-hmm. And this happened right here in Chicago.
Oh.
Nearly 1,000 birds struck a building in Chicago and dropped dead during their migration route last week. Now, this is something that happens a lot if you're downtown. You'll find dead birds everywhere because birds are stupid and they fly into windows. Right. But this is a much bigger number, a stunning number of bird deaths against a single building in one day. On Thursday morning, the bodies of birds littered the ground around the glass-covered McCormick Place.
Okay.
Which
isn't even that tall.
No. It's the largest convention center in North America, but it is covered with glass.
Right.
I mean, it's a glass building. Wednesday night into Thursday morning brought the perfect storm for bird strikes. Thousands were migrating through the Chicago area, combating a brisk wind, cloudy skies, and the glassy exterior of McCormick Place, which sits along the Chicago lakefront, an ideal resting place for birds. Yeah. It's in all the brochures.
Yeah.
It's in
photos.
Yes. Yeah. But that night, the building's lights were left on for an event, and apparently, I didn't know this. Birds get really disoriented by light.
Oh.
So, but that's really the cause of it.
Oxycontin.
And really, the sad thing is, I'm skipping by that Oxycontin.
And you being Kempfer and the bird, your history, your family.
Exactly.
Bird.
And having just flown into a wall myself.
Right. And with a broken wing now.
And a broken wall.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Lots of layers there.
These were mostly warblers, woodcocks, and sapsuckers.
Okay.
That died.
Yeah. I was called that all at one time in high school. You warbler.
Did I ever tell you
Probably
my bird in the basement story?
No.
Okay.
But then I'll tell you the squirrel in the attic story.
Okay. Well, it's similar.
Okay.
I do know your squirrel in the attic story. So this is when I was a senior in high school, living at my mom's in Mount Prospect.
Were you in the basement then?
I was in the basement.
Okay.
And
so your life really didn't change much from high school to mid to fairly late adulthood.
Let's just say that even while I was lying there on the ground with the broken arm, I thought, you know what? I had a pretty good run.
The basement years were not so bad.
The basement years those were good years. So anyway, I'm in the basement, and all of a sudden, this black bird flies by me.
Okay.
And now in the basement.
In the basement, right.
Yeah. So I'm thinking.
Were you reading the Starsky and Hutch book? What were you doing?
No, I was watching TV, probably.
Starsky and Hutch, perhaps.
Probably Jeopardy or something like that. But I don't know how that bird got in there because it's a basement.
House. It's a house, right.
And there are no windows. So there's just block glass, right? So how the hell does a bird get into the basement? So I've, like
you investigated. Yeah.
Like any manly man.
Explorer.
I ran up to my mommy and I said, there's a bird in the basement. And she's like, there's no bird in the basement. That cannot be.
Yeah.
So I said, no, let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
And we went downstairs and as soon as I opened the door, this bird came flying right at us. So, my mom and I started doing like a plan, all right? Because she's as tough as I am.
Like Scooby-Doo plan?
Yeah.
Kind of like
kind of like that. Yeah. I said, let's open the garage because my mom's house is an attached garage. and the basement, she could fly. The bird could fly right into. So
you're already gender. Okay.
I'm very gender
fluid.
Yes. Now we open the garage door. Yeah. Right, the bird flies into the garage with a whole wide open garage door.
Yeah.
And there's also this much space. I'm holding my fingers about 4 inches apart.
No, that's like 14 inches.
Yeah, okay. That much space between the top of the garage door and the ceiling. And this stupid bird,
this Mensa bird,
flew and kept flying into that one area over and over again. So we found out how the bird got in there. You want to hear that?
Sure.
So that's the mystery. Apparently, it was on the chimney.
Okay.
And passed out because of
smoke.
Some sort of fumes.
OxyContin.
And was like lying on the floor in the basement.
And wakes up and goes.
What
the hell?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Because it happened again about 5 years later.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, do you want to hear? I've told you the squirrels in the attic story, right?
Sure.
This has got, 15, 20 years ago. We had a squirrel in our walls. Somehow, we have an old house, and squirrels could probably, shrink to, how they kind of, I don't know, like mice and squirrel, whatever. And he got into and I'm going to say, he.
Okay.
He got into the house and was running up and down our walls. I mean, you could hear him. We'd be in the living room and you'd hear, that's a squirrel, right? So eventually he stopped. Eventually he found his way into the attic. Okay. So I go up there and I hear him in the attic and I go up there and we have one of those. Have you ever been to our attic?
Yeah.
So we have one of those, creaky floor doors, you open up, right? So I open up just a little bit. I'm like, okay, I wonder what Mr. Squirrel is doing. And I opened it up, 3 inches, and his face was right in front of me, just looking at me. And I eked. You know how you eked to hold the guard?
Yeah.
I eked and fell backwards down the stairs because the squirrel absolutely scared the shit out of me. So,
is there a happy ending to that story?
Yes,
for the squirrel.
We caught the squirrel and they released him in a farm in Indiana.
Oh.
And he lived like 19 years later.
Until some woman tried to stab him.
So there you go. Hey, I got a review.
Okay.
Excuse me. There's my cold.
Wow.
It's getting better.
That time you coughed directly into the microphone.
I know that.
It's like you moved your head and then you moved your microphone to be right in front of your mouth.
Sometimes coughs, I can tell a cough is coming, but sometimes they just happen. Al Fraser on Podbean writes, "Greetings from down under. Me and my mates listen to your show while we're grilling shrimp on the Barbie." Okay.
That's not real.
It is real.
Yeah.
And I checked. I'm like, Australia? We're number 217 in Australia right now.
Number 217.
217.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's 216 other podcasts that are better. So evidently...
Not better. More popular.
Okay. Al Fraser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like 50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
A popular book. Pretty shitty. Okay. But thank you, Al Fraser from Australia and on Podbean. And you can review us and rate us and, and subscribe and tell your friends and all that shit.
Yep, exactly. If you like this program, we have another program called Minutia Men Celebrity Interview, and there are lots of other great shows on, you can go to opishows.com, find some shows there, and wherever you find podcasts, look for Radio Misfits. Also, we have time for another feature. We call this one...
Time now for Studio Walls.
And the words of the prophets were written on the studio walls. Begin, please.
So this week, Dave, would have been John Lennon's...
Was it 82? 3?
83rd birthday. Wow. So happy birthday, John. I'm obviously a big Beatles fan. I have a son named John, named after John Lennon.
Did you name the Blackbird?
Right. Well, I wonder if that's why I called it a she.
A blackbird singing in the dead end. You know what? I bet
Take your broken wings and learn to fly.
Get on a bike and go into the wall.
Now, we've had several Beatles-related interviews on this show, probably a half dozen of them. But to me, the most interesting one was with May Pang, who was John's girlfriend during the Lost Weekend.
This was the interview that you didn't tell me about, so you could have her all by herself.
That's exactly right.
Oh, by the way, I interviewed...
Oh, hey, did I forget to mention that? Here's a part of the interview where she tells me the story of the day they were in the recording studio with Phil Spector.
Okay.
Everyone know who Phil Spector is?
Radio producer.
Here we go.
At that point, it was the Record Plant Studios. And we were listening back to the song. And John and had gone into another room, the client area, with Phil and Mal Evans, who was, of course, the roadie, the original roadie from the Beatles.
Right.
So we're listening, and all of a sudden I hear this big pop, and you see everybody's head, everybody just ducking. But I'm just such a New York City girl. I'm going, what was that? Not thinking what it might be, And the person standing next to me, which is really amazing, was Phil's mother.
Whoa.
She was actually standing. Yes, I had Mother Bertha standing next to me. She happened to come into the studio. I never thought I would meet her, but she was standing next to me. And I remember running towards the sound, opening up the door, and I'm seeing John with his finger in his ear going, Phil, you're going to shoot me. Basically that's what he was saying because, he goes, I need these ears to listen, And Phil holding the gun and Mal Evans grabbing it out of his hand. He goes, you shouldn't have this. And Phil says, you can't tell me what to do type of thing. And I finally said, can someone just tell me what just happened? I was almost, even though I was the youngest in this group, you thought I was the oldest because I took charge of what was going on. And Mal said, we were just horsing around. And Phil kept hitting Mal in the nose. And so all Mal did was say, hey, Phil, can you not do that? Because it hurts me.
Because Mal could have crushed him. Because Mal was a big guy and Phil was a little guy.
Absolutely. He was like 6'4", 6'5", big, brawny type of man, and there's Phil who's like maybe 5'4", 5'5", and in his Cuban heels, and I'm sitting there going, what, and they're saying, we were, horsing around, and he kept hitting me in the nose. All I did was ask him to stop.
Wow.
And Phil did not like that, and as he's pulling the gun out of his holster, the gun goes off. He could have shot somebody. So now, fast forward, everybody calmed down. We all went back to listening to the playback. Next day, John and I are at a restaurant, and Mal's looking for us, and he says, he goes, there you are. I said, what? And he goes, I've been looking for you. We said, well, why? And he goes, well, here's the bullet from last night.
Oh, my God.
And John and I were just like, bullet? What bullet? All this time that John and I had seen Phil carry a gun, we really thought they were blanks.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, so that's the story on that.
In front of his mother.
Wow. Well, we have conflicts like this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I love the stop punching me in the nose. I don't like it.
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of Mal Evans.
He's like a Jerry Springer-y type.
Oh, yeah,
security
he's just
guy,
a giant guy.
Yeah.
And the fact that Phil Spector was like punching him in the nose, and Mal was just like, please stop, sir. I mean, that's unbelievable. All right, now you know how a few weeks ago you challenged me and said that I bet you could have a parody song.
I bet you can't go to Switzerland and not end up in the emergency room.
Well, as it turns out, I do have a parody song for this week, too.
Okay.
This one goes way back.
Okay.
All right. This one is 30 years ago.
Okay.
And I recorded this for Ebony and Ivory.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And it was played on the Dr. Demento show.
I think I remember that.
The song is called Oktoberfest ist hier.
Okay.
It came out right when Germany reunified.
Okay.
And I thought that this year's Oktoberfest would be
the best one ever.
Was going to be the best.
Was it any better than any other one?
I don't know. I don't really like Oktoberfest that much, to be honest with you.
It's like New Year's Eve. Everybody,
yeah. But anyway, would you like to hear a little bit of it?
Sure.
So I'm going to go to the last minute or so here, which is going to take a moment of little...
Come on, hurry up. Good God, man.
All right, here we go. You ready? The last minute and 15 of Oktoberfest is here.
East here.
Ist. It, not east. Okay. Ist.
Okay.
Here we go.
Monika, schau mal, komm her, Liebchen, I am a lovesick German.
He's in love with the big waitress Monica.
I am a big fat German, Monika.
He is nowhere the size of that Monica.
I am a durstig German. Noch ein Bier!
It's time to crack open the beer.
That's why I'm happy and I'm smiling.
Oktoberfest
ist here!
Wait.
Hey, you dumb cop, keep your hands off.
Is that Bridget?
I'll beat you, Klaus. I'll toss you, Rouse.
Hey, Monica, we just want some beer. That's why we're happy and we're smiling because Oktoberfest is here.
Thank you very much.
So did you have a nice big plate of herring after you recorded that? Some schmaltz. That actually sounded... Well, that's Bridget, and was that your sister too?
No, it was Nancy Davis was her name. She worked at the Loop, and she came in and sang the backup on
They
it.
actually sounded very good. And, I don't want to give you any credit. You weren't bad.
Yeah,
not Grammy Award good, but...
I mean, hey, Dr. Demento played it. Yeah. And he actually played it for several years during Oktoberfest season. So
Dr. Demento's no longer alive, is he?
No, he is.
Is he?
He's alive. I don't think his show is alive. But he's still around.
We should try to get him on the show.
He'd be a great guest.
Let's get Dr. Demento.
Okay.
Right. Hey, I got another story.
All right.
This comes out of Alabama.
Okay.
Alabama high school marching band director who wouldn't stop performing at the football game is tased by police.
Wow.
Yeah, an Alabama high school band director was shocked with a stun gun and arrested by police after he refused to stop his band's performance following a football game. Police body camera captured the altercation Thursday after the Minor and Jackson Olin High School football game in Birmingham. The police department actually released the video this past Monday. Basically, what it shows is 3 Birmingham officers repeatingly asking the band director, "Hey, can you please stop?
Please knock it off."
Yeah, right. It's the football game's over. And he refuses to do it.
I know the song is called "Stars and Stripes Forever," but they don't mean it literally.
Yeah, right. So he's like, "Nope, not gonna stop, not gonna stop, not gonna stop." Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, screw it!" And so they point the stun gun on him, and he goes down, and then evidently the band can't play unless that guy with the baton is doing that thing. Yeah. I don't know. So he was arrested. But now before you jump to any conclusions, I sent you an audio of the band. So now the police might be the bad guys, but let's listen to this audio. All right.
All right, here we go. Wow. I can't even tell what song that is.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah. Oh my God.
You know what? I would have tased the guy, right?
I think that was Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
Could have been Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard, and we wouldn't know. So
that was really bad.
So
okay,
there's not a jury in Alabama that's going to convict these policemen, I don't think.
Well, I have a story for you. This is a very odd story. A woman was stopped by Customs and Border Patrol agents at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport last week.
Beautiful airport, by the way.
After she was found with giraffe poop that she planned to make into a necklace.
Oh.
All right. The droppings were seized by border officials on September 29th after a woman returning from Kenya declared that the animal feces surely she declared it at least.
Yeah, right.
Right.
There's probably a box that says animal feces. Oh,
Well, I mean, it was a box that said giraffe poop, basically. The giraffe poop, apparently, by the way, for those of you who are traveling to Kenya, you're not allowed to bring feces from various different species into America.
God, that's a parody song. Feces.
Hang on a second.
How can there not be a song with feces and species?
The giraffe poop was taken and destroyed by steam sterilization per USDA protocol. But I went into a bit of a
rabbit hole?
A rabbit hole.
Okay.
A giraffe hole, if you will. And found out I'm going to give you, right now, the most minutia that you've ever heard
about
in
giraffe.
your entire life.
Okay.
All right? You will not be able to find a fact less obscure than the fact that I'm going to give you. Right. Let me lay out a little bit of information about giraffe poop first, right?
Show's over it.
Giraffe poop is small and pellet-like, Dave.
Okay.
That's because giraffes have stomachs with multiple chambers. Right?
Okay.
The chambers break down the tough fibers from plants and grasses. These efficient digestive tracts mean that giraffes produce little waste, even though they're big animals, which explains the small size of their poo.
Interesting.
Which is probably why she was thinking, perfect for a necklace.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. But
maybe
here it
earrings
is.
too, I mean, right?
Here it is. Glad you're sitting down for this.
Yeah, okay.
If you look closely, you will notice that giraffe droppings have dents on the sides.
Okay.
Would you like to know why they have dents on the sides?
Sure.
The dents are formed by the long fall from the butt to the ground.
Oh, so when they hit, when it hits the ground?
It's the pressure, the air pressure. It's falling so far that they dent slightly on the side on the way down. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is minutia.
So does a giraffe wipe with his left hoof or the right?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, thank you for that.
Sure. That's the least I can do. We have time for another feature, I think, don't we?
Yeah. The OxyContin's got to be kicking in pretty soon.
My God, I am struggling like you would not believe. All right, here we go. It's time for another feature.
A random name pulled out of Rurik's bowl of brushes with celebrities. Mixture, collection, selection, assemblage, medley, assortment, variety. Time now for Celebrity Potpourri with Rick and Dave.
Okay, so I have a couple of things to choose from. You sent me one right before the show today.
Yeah.
So is that the first one you ever got?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Let's do that next week.
Okay.
Do your other one.
I'll do the other one here. This one is from Sandy.
Okay.
Hey guys, I really get a kick out of your German bits.
well, she's gonna love this show.
Like you two, my parents were German immigrants. My mom grew up in Niederndorf, and my dad was from Stuttgart.
What was the guy in Animal House?
Niedermeyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A German. Which, if you think about it, fits.
What nationality should we make the absolute bully? I think
Nazi,
German works very great.
Anyway, when I was young, Dad used to tease Mom about someone named Fraulein Schletz.
Oh. I could have married Fraulein Schletz.
He'd say the strangest things, and I always thought he was somehow speaking code. He'd say, Fraulein Schletz was on Hollywood Squares, or Fraulein Schletz was kissing Paul Newman, or Fraulein Schletz was topless.
Oh.
Now, he would raise his eyebrows a few times after he did that, and Mom would always say the same thing. Martin, stop it. I didn't figure out the code until about 5 years ago. My mom passed away in 2016, and we had to move Dad into assisted living. One night when I was visiting Dad, they had the TV on, watching a 1970s Agatha Christie movie, a murder mystery. Okay. He turned to me and said, I think Fraulein Schletz did it. I hadn't heard that name since Mom died, but my childhood curiosity resurfaced. On the screen at that moment was Elke Sommer.
Oh.
So I looked her up on my phone, real name, Elke Schletz.
Oh.
Hometown Niederndorf.
Oh.
My mom's hometown. Elke Summer and my mom were born the same year in the same town. I'm guessing they knew each other. And Dad was teasing Mom about her sexy classmate all those years. I've used that same tone of voice with my husband that Mom used with Dad. It's always when he's being a sexual pest. That's the universal back off horn dog voice. I decided not to confirm my suspicions with Dad. Frankly, I don't want to know the answer.
That's great.
That's a good story.
Oh, that's absolutely
Fraulein
fantastic.
Schlitz.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, I had thought
Fraulein.
I thought that was going to be his little euphemism for his genitalia.
Yeah, I didn't know where that was going.
But that
either.
was awesome.
Yeah.
That was great. Thank you.
Well, remember, it has to have some sort of a celebrity element.
Yeah. Hey, we've got another show you mentioned, right? You mentioned our show before?
Minutia Men Celebrity Interview?
Yeah, and we're going to have Ronald Wayne on. Do you know who Ronald Wayne is?
I really don't know.
When you think of the founders of Apple, who do you think of?
The Steves.
Right.
Steve Jobs.
There was a third one.
There was.
And his name was Ronald Wayne, and we're going to talk to him. So you know how the Cubs poem tinkers to Evers to Chance, and Steinfeld is in
Harry
it?
Steinfeld?
Yeah, I think this is Ronald.
He's the Harry Steinfeld of Apple.
All right, so we're going to have a chance to talk to him, and we're very interested in what he's going to have to say.
Okay. Well, we have people to thank for this show. I'd like to thank my surgeon.
Yeah.
Who put my arm
Fraulein
back together.
Stelz is the weirdest thing.
I'd like to thank the nice people of Switzerland.
Were they really nice?
They were not at all. They were not at all.
Got a little gruff, were they?
Yeah, they were not friendly people.
Well, you know how everybody's like, oh, they're neutral, right? They were neutral during the Holocaust.
Exactly.
You're like, okay,
exactly. You can't pick a side on that one.
Yeah, I understand that you may not want to ruffle any feathers, but come on.
I was riding in the ambulance. And the guy said to me, "There's so many tourists. That is why you are hurt." Yeah, I'm in pain here. Anyway, thank you, Switzerland. But we also have to thank Tony Lasano, our executive producer.
So their flag is kind of like an emergency room, right?
Yeah, it kind of is. It's the opposite.
That's why the flag is there. It's because you're going to end up in the emergency room.
Tony is our executive producer with
job.
Opie Productions, OPPIH
He was really
shows.com.
worried about you too.
Was he?
Yeah, he was worried that he had to co-host the show.
Yeah,
he was very happy that you didn't die.
Well, I'm happy I didn't die too. And we need to thank Ed Silla with
who wasn't at all concerned.
Radio hasn't even said hello.
He hasn't even reached out to you at all.
No, as far as I'm concerned.
He's dead to you.
Yeah. But Radio Misfits is where they say talk radio isn't dead.
Just has a wounded arm.
Yeah.
just hit a jagged wall at 16 miles an hour, but we're fine.
And we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of
Minutia Men.
The preceding was a presentation of Opie Productions. Find our other great shows wherever you find podcasts, including opishows.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?